Hey friends, Leighton Hart from Market Street Media here. Today we're going to talk about how you can use LinkedIn to attract new listeners to your podcast. But before we get to that, drop down and click that beautiful red subscribe button. You'll subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you'll click the little bell next to it, you'll get a nice little notification so that every time we drop one of these new coaching videos, you'll be the first to know. Okay, so social media is one of the top ways that people use to find new podcasts to listen to. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, even LinkedIn. And today we're going to talk about how you can use LinkedIn to bring new listeners to you. So I published a blog post about this recently, and there's a couple things that visually I want you to see, and so that's why I'm walking you through a screen share here. The first thing you can do is you can add your podcast to your profile or to your job description. So I'm showing you here a picture of one of our hosts, Ryan Mckinney. Ryan hosts the Johnson City Small Business Podcast, which he does interviews with small business owners in our town, Johnson City, Tennessee. It's a great podcast. You should listen to it. But what Ryan has done here, he's really good at LinkedIn, and he has gone in, and I'm going to highlight here for you that the first thing you see underneath his name is that he's the host and producer of the Johnson City Small Business Podcast. So he has, and then the second thing you see is his actual day job. So very quickly, right after looking at his profile, you know that he has a podcast, you know the name of it, and you know that he is linked to that podcast. So you can put your podcast and the fact that you're the host and producer of a podcast into your profile. Okay, the next thing you can do to attract new listeners is when you post a new episode, when you publish a new episode of your podcast, share a link as a status update on LinkedIn. Here's how I do it. Here's a recent example of a status update that I posted. So I did an interview with Mary Ellen Miller. She's a fantastic PR consultant, communications consultant, and we had a little chat about some great habits to get into to have a successful work-at-home experience. And so after we wrapped that up, I posted the link, and so down here you can see the link to the podcast right there. And then up here I just said, hey, I just dropped a special episode of the Johnson City Living Podcast with a quick interview with this person, and tagged Mary Ellen Miller, on how to be effective while working at home. I hope it's helpful. Be safe, stay home. Threw in a couple of hashtags, and there's the link. So status update, people will see that. The next thing you can do is write a LinkedIn article using LinkedIn's blogging platform. So I will often write a blog post on our site, marketstreet.media/blog, on that blog, and then post the link to Instagram as a status update. But LinkedIn has its own blogging platform. And the benefits of using their blogging platform, in other words, writing your article directly into LinkedIn, not as a status update, it's separate, is that your connections get a notification every time you post a new article. And those articles, LinkedIn makes it really easy to share those articles. What LinkedIn has done behind the scenes with their algorithm is they have placed a priority on articles that are written in their blogging platform. And so more eyes are going to see those articles. They're going to get recommended to more people. So you can write an article about your podcast, or mentioning that you have a podcast, or with a pull-out quote or something you learned on your episode of your podcast, and put it in the form of a LinkedIn article. Then you can go back and see, like here, if you pull up my profile, you can see activity, and so it will show you all my activity, all my articles, all my posts, and any documents that I have posted. So if you just click articles there, it'll pull up everything I've ever written into LinkedIn's blogging platform. Okay, this next one is really cool. I love this, and I just discovered this. So if you will add your podcast to the featured content section of your profile, here's what I did. I want people to associate me with the things that I'm creating. So I'm creating YouTube videos just like this. I'm creating a podcast, Johnson City Living Podcast, and I'm writing regular articles for our blog at Market Street Media. So those are the three things that I want people to know that I'm doing for them. So I posted those as featured content. So I featured a video, I featured my podcast, and then I featured a recent article that I've written for the Market Street Media blog. Now, what you could also do with this is if you have been a guest on somebody else's podcast, you can post that there. If you've been mentioned in an article somewhere, or have done a video interview with somebody, you can post those there too. Any kind of content that you want to feature, you can put there. So if you get a mention in a magazine or a big blog or something like that, you're definitely going to want to feature that there. Or if you just simply want people to have eyeballs on the stuff that you're creating and the podcast that you're producing, definitely feature it right there. Okay. In conclusion, LinkedIn is a great way for people to hear about your podcast, especially if you're a small business owner, if you are a nonprofit leader, if you have a cause that you're promoting and talking about on your podcast. LinkedIn's a great place because that's kind of the mindset people are in when they're cruising around on LinkedIn. And so add your podcast to your profile. Let people know that you're a podcaster. Post a status update when you when you publish a new podcast episode. Write articles in LinkedIn's blogging platform mentioning or making reference to the episodes that you're publishing, and add your podcast to your featured content section of your profile. That's it. If you do those things, that's bound to attract new listeners from LinkedIn, and that's it. We'll talk to you next time.